Pedro from A&P-Reacts. I'm here today with the iconic Peter Tägtgren to talk about Hypocrisy's latest upcoming record, Worship, out November 26th on Nuclear Blast. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, man. How are you doing?
I'm
it's
doing
early
great.
morning at your place, I guess.
Yeah, it's really early morning, but what's the best way to start your day? But having you on the channel and us talking about Hypocrisy.
The best thing is this.
Coffee?
To start a day, coffee.
Coffee.
To wake up.
I knew you were going to go there. The first question that I have for you is, are you a superstitious guy? Is this going to be your lucky 13?
No, I think I'm just really writing what I see and what I hear and what I believe in, you know. For me, it's really just getting my thoughts on the world as I see it. And it's nothing political or anything like that. I just see what I don't like and I write about it, you know, and it's my thoughts and my ideas.
What do you see connecting the album artwork with the title of the record and then the lyrical content that's inside the album? Is there one single connection between all three?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the title song itself is really about whoever put us on earth, they're going to come back and they're going to collect in a bad way because we're such idiots. Either wipe us out and try to teach us what the fuck we're doing wrong, since we have no clue. I mean, we do have a clue, but those who runs the world don't give a shit. So I don't know. It's like I said, it's my thoughts really about how things are.
Was this a challenging record for you? And when it comes to the creative approach, did anything change coming into this album?
Not really. I mean, when you've been writing albums for 30 years, hopefully you develop as a songwriter yourself. And so, I mean, for me as a songwriter, I just do what I always did. I write what I would like to hear myself. With lyrics, it has to mean something to me. It doesn't mean that it has to mean anything to anybody else. So I'm just very honest with myself when I write lyrics. What I hate and not so much what I like. I never put that in, but you know, things that I have a problem.
When I was listening to this record, the first thing that hit me was how well structured the album is. Like from the intro that's built into Worship to the outro that you get at the end of the record that's built into the song. The album kind of goes full circle. It just has a very well thought out process as far as the overall design of the record goes. Do you come into an album with a few ideas in terms of what your pillars are of how you want a record to feel? Or is it more of an organic process once the songs start to take shape?
I think in the beginning it's just a huge puzzle with 10,000 pieces, kind of, you know. You don't really know where you're going when you start writing it. And you have no clue how it's going to end up until you're coming up on the finish line, kind of. And then you start to structure out the songs like, okay, either you start with a slow song or a fast song or whatever. You want this this roller coaster feeling, you know. You want it to go intensive, you want it to come down, you want to go up again, and so on. And also with the melodies, tones, the melancholy to more aggressive kind of stuff. So to be honest, there's no real thought about anything, you know, what I do. It's just a moment of creation, so to speak. There's never any plans or any thoughts.
You see the album the way it is, a little bit almost like Control Chaos as you navigate through it, considering all the ebbs and flows that it has?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been like this, you know. Writing music, I can do 15 albums a year, but as soon as you got put words in there, it kind of unmotivates me and makes the whole process very slow. It just like pulling the brake. So for me on this album, when I started writing lyrics after pretty much all the songs were done, Well, that's not true either. But I had like 7 or 8 songs done, I think, and then started putting lyrics on a few of those songs that I thought, uh, you run through these songs without lyrics and just listening to the music, and sometimes you get like some kind of I don't know, like words in here and words in there, and you all suddenly it starts to take shape on what this song is going to be all about. I mean, Chemical Horror, I wrote maybe 3 years ago that lyrics, and we recorded the video pretty much 2 years ago, I think, and we didn't even have any plans on when we were going to release the album, and there were still like 30-40% still missing of the album. Same when we went to this headline tour in America we did in March or April
2019.
Yeah, exactly. Then we did the video for Worship. So everything was pretty brand new, what we had. And then I had to go out on tour with Lindemann. I had to finish that album, so it kind of got to a stop, and then you come back again to start working on it. So in this pandemic, I started to clean up everything on the album and writing a lot of lyrics and stuff like that. So, but the main thing is like a lot of these lyrics are 2-3 years old, at least 60% of the songs. So it's kind of weird how it ends up.
You mentioned earlier in terms of the people in charge of the world that we live in, and the mistakes that they make, and how you capture what you see of the world into your lyrical content. Do you surprise yourself sometimes by writing a song and then 3 years, 4 years down the road, you listen to what you wrote as far as the lyrical content goes, and it's still true? Like, it seems like for as much as we're evolving as a society, there's certain things that are just never changing.
Oh yeah, it's about power, It's always been about power since the existence of mankind, I would say. It's always been about this: who rules. And you can do it in many ways. You can scare people, because if you scare people enough, they get together, and then you can really just do as you wish on the people, because they will follow you because of fear.
Yeah.
So there's, and that's been for ages. So that's nothing new. It's just different ways how you do it.
When I looked at this album, listening to it, it's definitely feeling like a very dark album. It has this dark atmosphere to it. Do you see it that way as well, or like you said before, is this just a reflection of what you see out there as a dark world?
It is a dark world, I see, and then it's up to other people to define that or to argue against it. But for me, I see it a very, very dark. And but I think I always been like that. So I see the worst before the good things. So it's a matter of personality, I would say. I rather sing about what I think is wrong than sing about things I think is right. What's right is not. It doesn't really becomes important because it's natural. But when something is wrong, it's easier for me to express myself.
You mentioned the album as being a little bit of a roller coaster ride, and I totally agree with you. It has incredible ebbs and flows, and I think that's one of the things that really keeps the listener engaged, because you just never know what's coming around the corner. But now, how do you balance those ebbs and flows that the record has with still the idea that the album has to feel somewhat consistent, to feel as one, as a unit?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. It takes a few years, I would say, to get that. Normally, when I write something, if I write one song, I don't want to write that song again, so I do something complete different. In music wise, lyrically, I usually kind of stick on what I believe in. But in music wise, if you do one fast song, you want to do a slow song. And when you've done a slow song, you want to do a mid-part song. And then you start longing for a fast song again. So you start writing a fast song. So for me, it's just a natural thing. And maybe it's what I would like to hear on an album. That's what I'm writing. So, I mean, first of all, I follow my heart. I don't see what's trendy or not, because then Hypocrisy would never survive 30 years. If you want to try to follow the trends all the time, you will be fucked up.
When you look at this record, I felt that the main quality that the album had, outside of the structure, outside of those ebbs and flows, is that it's a very easy album to digest. I mean, when you look at the length of the record, over 50 minutes, 11 songs, it could become tedious, but this is not the style of record that you put together. This album feels so fresh at every single turn. Is there one element that you attribute to that feeling of freshness that this record has across 53 minutes?
Oh man, you're asking the wrong person. I'm so involved, it's hard to see through it, you know. I see it as 11 songs with a little bit different, what do you say? Like they all maybe connect because I've been involved in it somehow, and maybe I have a certain way of writing music that it could fit, but also it could fit because all the songs have the same guitar sound, for example. I mean, like in the basic, not in the melodies and stuff like that, but there's a lot of different way. I really don't see it like that. I just see it like 11 songs on the album, and of course I really try to melt them into each other so it feels like one big unit. And if you say you feel that, then I'm happy, you know. But it's nothing that I start creating, you know, like all these songs has to have a red line in them as sounding wise or lyrically have the same thing, you know. They all can be a little bit different from each other. So I really don't know what makes it like a unit for 11 songs. I really don't know.
Is this one of those albums that you just opened the death metal umbrella and you took a little bit of pieces from other genres, even perhaps a little bit outside of death metal, like thrash? Because I felt like there was other influences that kind of gave certain unique elements to certain tracks within the record.
Yeah, I mean, thrash metal. I lived on thrash metal in the mid '80s and stuff, so I think it's natural. I mean, we had that on older albums as well. You know, Scrutinized was pretty thrash metal. The Eye of the last album was pretty thrash metal. It's a big part, you know, same as black metal is and same as death metal is. So for me, it's things that influence me over the last 30 years as well. So it's just a natural thing. We're not pure death metal. Everybody knows that. Everybody knew that after the second or third album, you know, that, okay, this is not just about death metal. It's about more doom, more these feelings and the slow songs, the epic songs, you know, it can help you fly away from reality for a while, you know. And that's what I like to do. I like to disconnect from reality a lot, to get my own ideas, my own laws, my own feelings, and then I try to write it.
You try to put it into music.
Yeah.
You touched a little bit on the guitars. Do you come into an album with a game plan for what do you want the guitar sound to be, or the overall approach to be on a specific record?
Oh no! First, you start with demos. You know, when you write the songs, and you usually plug it straight into to the computer and get a plug-in amp or whatever. You know, just to have something to get your ideas down. And after that, when you have all the songs done and you played fairly good enough, you know, then I start to fuck around. I bring out all my Marshall amps, my 5150, the Mesa Boogies, and blah blah blah. You know, it takes me weeks sometimes to agree with myself what I want, because most of the time I have no clue what I want, but I just start fiddling with it, changing pedals, changing amps, changing microphones, changing speaker cabinets, and you know, it's a never-ending story of the perfect sound. You know, there is nothing as a perfect sound, because and that also makes me really want to do it. If you succeed on something that you feel it's perfect, where the fuck do you go from there? Nowhere.
Yeah, there's no room.
So it's a struggle to find the perfect sound, kind of, you know.
Are you a perfectionist from that perspective then?
Yeah, playing wise, no, but you know, arrangements and sound wise and things like that, yeah. I notice like the less tight I play, on guitars. What I always put on 4 guitars, rhythm guitars. You know, no matter what you hear, there's always, most of the time, 4 guitars. Unless it's a break, then there's 2 guitars going. But so for me, if I tied it up too much, it gets very, the sound becomes very narrow, like very small. But the more you're a little out of touch and things, that the wider the sound gets. So I prefer to play a little bit sloppy than try to do what you hear nowadays, as I call the laptop productions, where you sit and quantize everything and everybody has the same snare sound or the bass drum sound or guitar sound or whatever, you know. I wanted to have some soul in it, you know. I don't want to do this chopped up thing and showing how good we are to play and how tight it is. I rather have the atmosphere. That's the most important thing for me, to get a feeling when you listen to the album, like, whoa, I'm somewhere in a room or in a hall, or I'm in space, or whatever. It gives you a feeling. And nowadays I just feel like I'm in a laptop when I hear a lot of productions nowadays. But I'm a geek, you know, so maybe it's just me.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, when I was listening to the album, the footprint, I call it the footprint, the sound footprint
Yeah.
of this record is outstanding. It feels so big. There's so much heart. It's a warm sounding record. It feels like it has volume, that it doesn't have any cracks. And I think that is also something that you take from playing live and you bring it into the studio. So it gives it that raw sound, that raw approach, not
Yeah.
filtered at all.
Yeah, not polished and redone and fixing with the computer and shit. I rather play it through half decent than to chop it up and try to take the best parts and chop and, you know, and then all suddenly it becomes too stiff for me. With Pain, it's perfect because it's supposed to be very digitalized, kind of, with Pain. But with Hypocrisy, I think we still need this warmth and also this that takes you on a ride feeling.
Yeah, the grittiness. We talked about the sound. I want to talk about your vocals. Is there a secret to the Fountain of Youth that your vocals are? You sound as good on this record as you did on the first album. What are you doing? Is it the coffee in the morning?
I to be honest, I in the beginning, since it was every time I get used to do death metal vocals, then it's time to go and do Pain now albums or gigs, and then you have to sing clean, so you forget about how you growled in the past. It takes you 3 or 4 songs to find the growl again, you know, if you've been out of it for a year or so. And in studios, I could never get the right monitoring, the right feeling to do my deep growls as I do live. Live, I think I sing much better than I do on the album. It's just because what I hear in the headphones, it doesn't get me into the vibe. But when you're standing on stage, you're all in there, you know, and then my voice, I think, can go anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So on this album, I don't know what I did different. I think I stayed a little bit more into the darker area, you know, just to also give the darkness of the lyrics, you know, the meanings, and really try to put my feelings into what I was singing and not just sing because I have lyrics in front of me.
A more organic result. I felt that you were also a little bit of the glue that held the album together, because sound-wise, like you said, there's ebbs and flows, ups and downs. The vocals felt a little bit more consistent from beginning to end, so that helped me as a listener stay better connected with the album all the way through. Is that perhaps the red line that you sometimes can't find your vocals kind of help you guide that experience?
I don't know. I mean, that's something you guys have to tell me, because like I said, I'm so involved with the vocals. There's some songs I I really don't think I growl that good, but some people say, oh, it's fucking great. So I guess I misinterpret what is good and what is bad, to be honest, you know. Some songs I think I got the growl really good. I'm really happy with it. And some songs I thought the growls were more harsh, you know, like, you know, you're just breathing air instead of pushing from the bottom. So, you know, redo until you find it. And then it's time to jump on the next song. And then you feel like, okay, this song should not be just low growls all through. You need to put some dynamic in there. So it's the same thing there. It's a fucking puzzle, I guess.
Wow. Was there a song on this record that gave you a little bit of a hard time for you to get it to where you want it to be? Kind of your kryptonite, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few songs that I didn't really want to put on the album because I didn't think they were strong enough. But in the end, I guess now people really like them. Like, for instance, Another Day, I didn't think was strong enough, but I talked to some people and they really love it. So it's usually like that. When I think something is good and another thing is bad, it's usually the opposite.
Well, the beauty of this record is that it's all singles. There's no song that I think you could have thrown away, because the album is so compact as far as quality goes from top to bottom that you just created a record filled with singles.
I don't know. It's you who said that.
Yeah, I'm
I hope
telling
you're
you,
right, but
one of the best albums I heard this year, in terms of the
Oh,
heart
great.
that it has, in terms of the sound that it carries, the ebbs and flows, how engaging it is. I mean, like I said, it's over 50 minutes in length, but when you get to the end, you're ready to go again on that ride because you had so much fun the first time
Yeah.
around. You just want to go back again. It's kudos to you in terms of how you constructed this album and the songs that you created.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, for me, it was, we were starting talking about, oh, we need bonus tracks and stuff. So let's take away one song or two songs. And then I was like, fuck that. I mean, people waited for 8 years. Give them everything we got right now. And, take it as for the good or for the bad. So I hope all 11 songs, is up to the standard. So I'd rather give them a little bit more. Some bands are smart, they give them 9 songs and sit on 2 songs because they were not maybe the best one. But who's to decide which one is the best song, the people or yourself? So I'd rather give them everything, and hopefully it doesn't take another 8 years for the next one as well. So.
Well, I think when you're inside of the creative process, sometimes it's perhaps a little bit hard to see the forest from the trees throughout the whole process. So for us on the other side that are just getting the end result, it becomes a lot easier to digest and understand. So from my end, I'm glad you guys kept all 11 in, because like I said, there's not a weak single track on this album. It's strength followed by strength followed by strength all the way through.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's good to hear.
One last question for you, and that is, as you look back at the history of Hypocrisy, 13 records, you guys been around for such a long time. Is there one single element that you can look back at that debut album that has stayed true all the way through to this latest record?
You mean from Penetralia album
Yeah.
to now? Oof. I don't know. Distorted guitars, double bass. I don't know. I would say when I was writing for the first album, I believed in it like there is no tomorrow. And I think that is the same thing that happens on every album. You do what you believe in. You don't do it for anybody else but yourself. You want to impress yourself, and then the bonus will be if people like it. And I think that's the red thread through the whole 30 years of career. Not to listen to other people, but to listen to your heart, what you want to hear, and try to create that. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I do with all kinds of music that I write. I write what I would like to hear. I don't write what I think can be a hit or not, because I'm not Nostradamus. I cannot predict what's going to be the famous song of the album or whatever. So I just trust myself that this is a good song, and that's it.
You trust your instincts.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Peter, thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate you chatting with me about this upcoming record. Like I said before, I mean, this album is outstanding.
Thank you.
So I'm so happy that I've had a chance to listen to it already. I love the record. Congratulations to you and everyone involved in making this album, and all the best. And hopefully I'll see you on tour soon. Last time I saw you in Toronto was 2019. Feels like a eternity ago.
Yeah. I think April, May there somewhere will probably be, if the pandemic doesn't stop it. I think we have something there, so for North America, but it will come out soon. So I'm holding my fingers crossed that it will happen, you know. And
Yeah.
thanks for your support, man.
All the time. My pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and look me up when we're there.
Yeah, for
we'll have
sure.
a
For
couple
sure.
of
I'll
brewskis.
come and see you, and Thomas is a good friend of mine as well, so I'll come and see him
Oh,
as
cool,
well.
great.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he'll help me pump some iron or something.
Yeah, I wish I had the energy to do that. You know, I could use to fucking pump a lot, but I'm a musician, and I don't know, my body, I don't give a shit. You know, it's my mind I care about.
It's your mind and your
but
voice.
it would be healthy to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take care. All the best.
You too. Thank you very much for your support, man. And see you in a half a year, I hope.
All right.
A little bit longer, but yeah.
We have a date.
Yes. All right. Bring some moose heads, man.
I will for sure. 100%.
Okay, cool. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.